Seminara.
Good evening, Madam President. I rise to make a few observations about this document. And all of my observations have one thing in common. In fact, I can describe these observations with one word, and the one word I would choose to use is irresponsible. I'm proud to represent the several northwestern Connecticut towns that I do, and I'm proud to serve as the ranking member of the Human Services Committee, where we work collaboratively to help our most vulnerable residents. The needs are great, and we all know that. We all see them in every one of our districts every single day. Energy cost, transportation needs, healthcare accessibility, which brings me to my observations, many of which I was stunned and disappointed to see. I know the good senator spoke, and we've spoken several times already about LIHEAP. But we did allocate money for LIHEAP, and now we're cutting LIHEAP by $5 million. I see that as irresponsible. We did allocate money for Operation Fuel. Maybe historically we haven't, maybe we shouldn't have, but we did, and we are now cutting it by $1.75 million. I see that as irresponsible. The good senator also spoke about the $750,000 cut, actually completely swept away to the Northwestern Transportation Pilot. And the good senator said that that was cut as a result of not being used for it being allocated years ago and it not being used. I question that from the standpoint of that piece was added to 5001, which was approved last session. And I say that because I was the one who put that in that bill. And I was the one who advocated for the Northwestern Transportation Pilot, because once again, in my neck of the woods, there is a transportation desert, and we don't have transportation. So this was an attempt to try to remedy that situation. And I know that that pilot was already in discussions and how we would be using those financial resources. So I am very disappointed that they are no longer available. Some additional observations is that the bill eliminates the report due date for the Human Services Career Pipeline and now makes it within available appropriations. That too was something that was a huge part of 5001 last year, and essentially by making it with available appropriations, my feeling is most likely it won't happen at all. The bill eliminates the local voluntary registration system for children and adults with IDD. As co-chair of the IDD caucus, this is not only disappointing, but baffling to me. I simply cannot fathom why we would cut a voluntary registration program for those with intellectual disabilities to our emergency services so that a form can be completed. Our emergency services would know if an emergency happened and there was somebody with an IDD in a household, they would be aware of who that is and how to handle that person. Why would we cut that is baffling, simply baffling to me. Not to mention the $7 million hole we are making in Medicaid services with this document. I consider myself a strong advocate for those with disabilities, for those with low-income residents who are barely scraping by, and for all my constituents in the 8th District. But I feel this bill falls short in so many ways, hurting our most vulnerable and all Connecticut residents. On a broader level, I want to make yet another observation. 2 weeks ago, the majority passed legislation giving 42,000 state employees salary increases of $191 million. By comparison, this document before us tonight gives a one-time allotment of $50 million to 125,000 nonprofit workers. Seems a bit unequitable to me. Irresponsible. Finally, I want to echo the points made by some of my Republican colleagues. I ran for office on the plank of fiscal responsibility, and the people of the 8th District expect me to uphold that and expect that those fiscal games that physical games would not be played up here. Unfortunately, the budget, or I won't call this a budget, I feel like there are a little bit of gimmicks in this document. The bill sets us up for failure next year and beyond, and it sets us up for tax cuts, or tax hikes, I should say, pardon me. And the fiscal guardrails, I feel you might be able to kiss goodbye. As I've noted repeatedly, this bill before us can be summed up in one word, and that word for me is irresponsible. I really do thank the good senator in the circle for all of the work and time and effort that you've put into this. I know that you work extremely hard, and it is not a position that I envy. And I'm sure all of the decisions that you've made or that were made were very difficult ones. And I honestly can empathize with that. But I do feel like this is setting us up for failure in the years to come. So I will be voting no tonight. But I thank you for the time